This evening, we're going to do something we've not done elsewhere in our series. We're going to look at one of Shakespeare's characters in detail. Shylock is one of Shakespeare's most famous parts, and today The Merchant of Venice is perhaps the play that's most argued about. Some people, of course, feel it's deeply anti-Semitic and ought not to be performed. Others react the other way and say that if you read the text aright, Shylock the Jew is intended by Shakespeare to be sympathetic and even a heroic character, and it's often played that way, so you can take your choice. Patrick and David and I have done the play together at different times, though neither of them has seen each other play the part. So we should all declare at the outset what we believe Shakespeare means us to feel about the character. Well, what we believe is that he shows Shylock as a bad Jew and a bad human being, but that this in itself does not make the play anti-Semitic. If we thought it was, we certainly wouldn't do it. Anti-Semitism is certainly expressed in the play by some of the characters, but of course that doesn't mean that Shakespeare himself approves of what they're saying. There are two other Jews in the play, Shylock's daughter Jessica and Tubal, and Shakespeare does not take an anti-Semitic view of them. But Shylock is a would-be murderer who refuses to show Antonio, the merchant, and his intended victim any mercy. Those who try to justify Shylock have to work very hard to get round that, though they usually feel that they can do so. It's interesting that in Israel, most Jews don't seem to have such scruples. There have been quite a number of productions of the play there since the war. The problem with the part, I think, really springs from Shakespeare himself, because he very rarely expresses his own views explicitly in a play. He shows us here a bad Jew and some bad Christians, and yet he doesn't articulate his view of the characters. He lets them betray themselves by their words and actions. That is Shakespeare's way. He rarely makes his characters all black any more than he makes them all white. Yet different critics or actors are apt to pick out the black bits or the white bits only and to interpret the play accordingly. It's even been said that there are only two ways of playing Shylock, either as a goodie or a baddie. But if we are to read Shakespeare truly, we must look for the delicate ambiguities and inconsistencies that he provides, as we've seen elsewhere. These inconsistencies are the character, flawed, contradictory, human. If I had to say to an actor one thing only about a part, I think I'd choose to say, look for the ambiguities and the contradictions and play them.